Hey, everybody, welcome back to another all counseling webinar. I've got part two in a series with my new friend, Nikenya Hall, a therapist based in New York City and with roots in Oklahoma, where I'm based. My name is Cory Miller, and I help on the team at All Counseling and get to the joy of having great conversations with this, with therapists who I don't know, embodied life. You're going to have so much joy in this conversation with Nikenya. I get to ask the questions, but if you have questions or things for Nikenya, please put those in the chat. I'll try to raise those up in conversation. But Nikenya Hall, welcome back to another all counseling webinar.
Yes, thank you, Cory. It's always such a good time when we're together. The conversation will flow so seamlessly, the hour will go by so fast.
Well, we're going to talk about a really key subject, and this resonates with me. So I get to be really selfish because it resonates with me. And let's pretend that not everything is perfect. Just because when we talked about a month ago, I think it was like, okay, there's this tendency for being in summer and we can be outside and we can do fun activities. And now we can be with other people. And there's this tendency of thinking, okay, well, maybe my problems shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
But ma'am, before I get into that, would you tell us in just a second, those of you who haven't listened to our conversations in the past, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Nikenya?
Absolutely. Originally from Oklahoma, I now live in New York. I've been here 11 years. So I say I'm a transplant. Both are now home in my heart. I intersect mental health, therapeutic world with the spiritual world. So as well as being a mental health just advocate practitioner. I do psychic readings, seances. I also am an author. My book, Letters to Grief, can be found on my website and also on Amazon. So I take an affinity to that world as well.
Sorry, I was trying to look up your website so I could put it in the chat, but it'll be in the show notes. But I love that, by the way. We talked about a little bit of I don't know how you call it, mystical parts of life and healing. And I love your approach because you're such a well-spoken person, but you have this great understanding of life and emotions and all these. And I love that you blend these into your practice.
Thank you. Yeah. I think I found very early on in my career that just thoughts and feelings, the people sitting across from me, in the therapeutic chair were so multidimensional, and it just wasn't just thoughts and feelings. And that was very early on. And then just career and life brought me into the metaphysical space. And now just integrating both of those, I found great joy, and I've see just such the impact, the holistic impact in the journey of my clients. It's so healing. It's so healing.
I love that. We're going to have to talk again about this subject because I totally want to dive into that. But I really want to get to our topic today. So thank you so much. And when we're talking, I'll find your website and share it in the chat too. But so this topic we talked, I guess it was a month or so ago, and gosh, you brought this awesome subject that I think we all experience when we're coming out of spring. Oh, it's sunshiny. Okay, I can be with other people. And why did that topic and okay, there's this tendency of going, okay, everything's awesome. Let's don't talk about the bad stuff. But
Right.
how does it resonate with you?
When we were in our strategic planning call and I was thinking about topics for the summer, this was very reflective of my current caseload and the clients that are coming to me. I have a dip in the summer because people want to be outside, right? Like, I don't need to work on my depression and my anxiety. I am traveling, which of course I'm the therapist that's like, go girl, go, please, please swipe your card and be on the beaches of Aruba, Mexico. But this particular summer, I found like an uptick of clients coming in, and I was very much like, because I've been in this profession double digits at this point, and I was like, hmm. And it was this reoccurring theme of like, I am exhausted. I am trying. I thought by summer the sun is out, my kids are out of school. I thought I would have some emotional reprieve, and it didn't come.
Mm.
And they're like, so I am at my, it did not come. I am at the last straw, the end of my rope, please. And, it just got me thinking of this is very Buddhist, like perspective of just suffering and long-term suffering. And it just made me think of what do we do when the thing we thought would boost us or give us reprieve or lighten our load does not.
Mm.
What do we do then? And I was like, oh, I think this is a topic we can explore and uncover and just shed some light on.
I think it's so interesting as someone who's done therapeutic work for, a long time, that
Mhm.
you noted that in the summer, your case, your clients maybe go down, and it seems it obviously trends there, but I'm not a therapist. So like just that observation alone kind of
Yeah.
goes, oh yeah, because I know there's been times in my own life, Nikenya, when I go, everything is bright and shiny, in my life. And okay, maybe I don't, maybe I'm good. And what often happens, I realize very shortly after, when I go, I'm good, I don't need this, and I think I'm okay, I'll space out my counseling appointments. Then I
Mhm.
go, oh no, okay,
I was not ready for the training wheels to be taken off. I was not ready. I am riding this bike and I am crashing. That's what you know. Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely.
Notice that. Mhm.
But
Yeah.
it's interesting you've seen that in your own practice.
Mhm.
But I think that's a tendency of human nature too, is to say, okay, when things start to be bright and shiny,
Yeah.
um, that okay, we're good, but there's this kind of creeping realization. You call it a reprieve, the emotional reprieve. It's like, well, if it is bright and shiny physically outside, oh, it does feel better, and it does feel better to me. By the way, I like it. I like my environment being bright and sunny.
Absolutely.
But the reality is, there's so much stuff going along, and I think you even said in our call, like, doesn't mean those things also take a summer break.
Right. I also want to note that um physiologically sun and light does boost mood. It does boost serotonin. Serotonin is our little thing in our brain that goes, oh, happy dance. So I do want to put that into our discussion. That is literally like a um statistical fact, right? Like it is
Mhm.
proven to be true. So yes, our mood is light, sun is on our face, we're getting vitamin D, all of that. Anxiety, depression, financial hardship, um, grieving a divorce, um, your teenage kid is off the rails. That does not stop because the sun is shining.
Mhm.
Your anxiety, depression, that kid, your boss that you're not getting along with, they don't care that the sun is shining,
Mhm.
right? So bringing in that conversation of, we go through winter, and I'm on the East Coast. Winter is rough, right? Like we emotionally, winter is rough. We go through winter, we go through spring, and we're just like, if I can just get to summer, if I can just get to summer, I'll be outside, I'll be happy hour on the rooftop, all of that. But you still have these things in your life that are still full-fledged operating. So how do we hold those two? What do we do? And even the conversation, do we do anything about it? Or let's just acknowledge that it's still there. I can be happy to reconnect with my girlfriends Friday on a rooftop happy hour, but that doesn't mean that I'm not still sad necessarily, or that I'm still not in grief. Grief is visiting me this week. Those things doesn't mean that's not happening.
I totally see that. I've had a couple of friends, I've had meetings this week and they're like, how are you doing? And I go, I don't want to tell them the last thing I told them, which isn't the happy, cheery, sunny side of things.
Yeah. 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 There is and I'm glad you brought this up, Cory, because when I was getting ready for our webinar today, that came up. Just this notion of that we want to put on such a brave face. Like no one wants to be Eeyore when dating myself, but Winnie the Pooh fans,
Mhm.
no one wants to be Eeyore. No one wants to be that person. But what if being Winnie the Pooh or even Tigger is more detrimental to me? What if me putting on this face or trying to show up in this space is so inauthentic, or it's just so draining? I'm so exhausted. I did that at my 9 to 5, right? Like I did that for work. And then now I'm going to continue to do that in social setting. Like I'm exhausted. I have nothing left to give. But we have this notion that we're supposed to show up this way. We are supposed to keep the human parts of us that are not so bright and shiny away. We tuck that away. We're not supposed to show that.
So, it occurs to me, speaking from my own experience here, that I don't know if I'm always resolved with all those things personally.
Yeah.
But I do want to be vulnerable and open and authentic with those people I trust,
Mm-hmm.
to let in, to know what's going on with my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems it speaks to one is, we talked about the mask, like
Yeah.
we have to put on the cheery face and the smile and stuff.
Right.
And the other side I think is how we express the vulnerability of,
Yeah.
you said grief is visiting me
Yeah.
this week,
Yeah. I learned even before we get to like what to do, right? I still want
Yeah.
us to just acknowledge the fact that those who are here, those who will be listening later, if you find yourself just in a space of like, sun is shining, everything is going on, and you are like, am I missing something? No, you're not.
Mm.
No, you're not. Problems, life, all the things is still happening regardless of the seasons, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the intersectionality of seasons, just the earth that we live in, with just day-to-day life stuff, humanness, right? So
Mhm.
things don't align. And so you're not missing anything, you're not off kilter, you're not off base, just because you're like, it's all of these people's having a great time and I am not. So I just want to say, you all right.
Mm.
You all right. You all right. Your sunny day might not be right now just because the sun is shining, and that's okay. Those things might not match all the time, right?
That's such a good word, because I go straight to okay, how do I fix it?
Yeah, yeah. What to do? You give me the skills.
You're like, whoa, slow down. And I think you're all right. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm not sure who has said it, but there's this common thing. It's right here, right now. I'm okay. And I
Mm,
find myself repeating that to myself.
yeah.
What I hear you saying too is like, it's okay.
Yes.
This, like, giving yourself permission to kind of slow down from the fix it. Okay, I got
Yeah.
to do these things or struggle with it, to, okay, it's okay to just kind of be here in this moment and go,
Yeah.
maybe my weather outlook emotionally looks kind of cloudy.
Yes. Yes. You just brought something up in my mind. When I was in nonprofit world, before I went 100% on my own, I managed a two a two team, and I had about 20 employees under me. And one of the thing in one of our meetings, I would open up with, "What is your weather today?"
Mm.
Because like, "How are you?" is like so like we're just so automatic to be like, "I'm fine." So I would be like, "How was your weather today?" And I would have everyone say it, and you could explain why your weather was that or not, right? And it was a good middle ground of an emotional check-in, but not the disclosure, because that's what we're talking about. And I can almost hear you guys' thoughts like, okay, yeah, I want to be at happy hour, but I also don't want to be Eeyore. So what do I do? Like, how do I not bleed out? We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Get there. But that was a good middle of some people was like cheery and had a happy affect, but their weather was dark and stormy. And it was just a good reminder that you are around so many people and you do not know what's happening behind that mask.
Mm.
Also, as a manager, I was like, okay, this is the temperament of my team today. That's good information just for me. Later on in the day, if people are missing emails or something, they're dark and stormy today.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it was and every single time you could just see people's face go, huh. And people would come up with like, I'm lightning, or I'm sunny with a bit of clouds. I have some rain, but the sun is shining. Like people would literally explain where they were, but without giving the detail or the bleeding out.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's essentially what we're talking about is our emotional weather, our emotional check-in is not matching with the outside, even though our skin is getting this, serotonin, we're getting this vitamin D, we're feeling a boost in the inside, but then you're still like, grief is whipping my, I want to lay in the bed today a little bit longer.
You
My
said this.
thoughts is ramping, even though I'm outside. I'm on this lake with my family July 4th, and my intrusive thoughts is like running 110.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about
I
that.
so much like the weather, though, like the emotional weather. You're, sunny with a little bit of clouds, or lightning. That's such a descriptive way, especially if I've done my own emotional work, started my own emotional work, and go, such a good thought. Like, and one thing you have said in the past is I think we did a whole conversation on it, is permission to feel your feelings.
Yeah.
That you said.
Yeah.
And I think that's so freeing. It's permission to go, yeah, the weather outlook looks stormy. It's stormy, know?
Yeah.
And that feels like an internal acknowledgement too. Like when your scenario before you talked about even go to the happy hour, is like, they're going to ask me, how's it going? Like typical conversational starter.
Yeah.
And it feels like for me, taking a moment to go, how's my weather?
Yeah.
It's freaking stormy,
It's Yeah.
and the acknowledgement of that.
The acknowledgement of that. And also in this conversation, we're extending that with the thing that I thought would boost me. That summer trip that I have planned, that wedding that I've been looking forward to attend. I do this and this and this during the summertime. The thing that you thought would ground you and make it a little bit better might not be doing that anymore. So it's the permission to say, okay, here's where I am, regardless of what the outside is doing. And wow, the awareness, the enlightenment of the thing that has always grounded me, held me, boosted me is not working. My yoga class is not doing what it's supposed to do. My meditation is not doing what it's supposed to do. Date night is not doing what it's supposed to do. I love my kids' soccer games and being around the parents. That's not doing what it's supposed to do at all. This summer that I've been looking forward to is not doing what it's supposed to do. Then what do we do with that? Yeah. Just bringing that enlightenment and awareness that the thing that might have boosted you this whole time might not serve you in that manner anymore. And that is okay. Nothing is wrong. You are not bad. Right? You have not did anything wrong.
I think there's so many times we work on these things. We sit with our emotions. We explore our emotions and try to get awareness. And you just go like, okay, well, the extended forecast is just kind of murky, and then we think the hope seems to be like, okay, I think I was telling you this last time. Yeah, I was ready for spring. I was ready for like sunshine and decent weather to kind of get outside. And then you get there, sunny
Yeah.
springtime weather. This is back in the spring, actually. And now we're talking midsummer.
Yeah.
And then you go, okay, it didn't do the thing.
Didn't do the thing. We can bring in global warming because if anyone East Coast, no East Coast, there's a saying of like New York City summer is undefeated. Like the city swells like 20%. People come in, like you can leave your house literally Saturday morning and not come back until Sunday morning. Just because you're just outside. It's just in the next thing. But it has been very rainy. And I've been like, it's almost the end of July. I have not been to the beach. I ain't been to a pool. What is happening? I'm about to put my boots on. My Uggs are about to be out in probably like a little over 30 days. Oh my God. What is happening? Because summer, we store up summer and summer experiences like squirrels, right?
Mm-hmm.
That carry us through the brick winter. Like that carry us through. Mother Nature is like, actually, no.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I mean, full transparency, like I'm already anxious for winter. I'm like, I have to do so. I haven't had enough vitamin D. I haven't had enough to get me through. I haven't had enough. What do you do when the thing does not give you that breath, takes the steam off, lets the steam out? What do you do? I think it's hard for us to even recognize and realize. I think that's the thing. Because we work so hard for our coping skills, right? Like we work so hard to be positive. We work so hard to like manage our emotional health. And it's a very hard pill to swallow or to even realize like, oh, the thing I have been hoping for, my sure thing is not sure anymore. It creates unsteadiness. It creates anxiety. It feels like the ground is not solid.
So there's two sides to it. One is the thing that you're hoping for comes, and there's not a lot of change or feeling of change. The other side is the thing you're hoping for hasn't come yet, or is like not as full.
Yeah. Yes. The thing itself has changed. Not as full. It's changed. It's different. And also, when you interact with the thing, it does not produce the same results. The results you were it's not even like hoping for, it's the results that you needed.
The thing you thought you could count on. I love the undefeated summers.
The thing
Kind of is getting on a losing streak.
Mother Nature is defeating us here. We are not winning. Yeah. That's a hard realization. That's a hard space to step in and stand in.
Especially when you're in that midst of a season of struggle. Yeah. And you're like, okay, if I can get to X date or whatever this thing is, if I can get this next step. And sometimes, especially with emotional work, it feels like there's not a clear path.
No.
You don't see there's not a roadmap, I guess, driving directions, a Google map to say, okay, 25 miles, it'll take you 4 hours.
Then you're on E and then you go fill up and for sure the gas station, right? But we're kind of like on the road driving and we're like, okay, I got this much left in me. If you did your emotional work, right? I got this much in me, and we pull into the gas station and they're out of gas, or it closed down, or you can get snacks, but they only have diesel, and your car do not put diesel in your car.
Yep. It feels too, it's like pinning hopes on something in the external too.
Yeah.
Like If I
Yeah.
get here, my hope is based on if I get to the gas station,
Mm.
we've all had that low gas anxiety of like trying to figure out, okay, if I can just get 3 miles,
Right. Right. Right.
warning lights coming on, it keeps beeping. I go, I know,
Trying to
3
get,
more miles.
yeah. Yeah. It's your boss is writing you. You've missed project deadlines because you're already emotional bandwidth is already shot. And you're like, if I can just get through these 9 days to this vacation, and then it rains the whole time during vacation, and then you have travel troubles, which if you talk to anyone who's flew in the last like couple of months, airports are wild.
Yes.
It's wild, right? I'd say that's a part of our system collapse from COVID. Like we're still in system collapse.
Mhm.
So that person that's still trying to get there, and then you're here, you bought all your outfits, you did the things, you push through to have all your projects in, your out of office email is up, you have travel problems, and it rains your whole vacation. And then you come back to the same thing. A lot of us is living that.
Mhm.
A lot of us is living that in real time.
Seems we're talking about two, hope and expectation. I hope I can get there. When I get there, I expect vacation. Okay. Sit in the sun. We're going to go on a cruise next week. So, the expectation is okay, great food, be able to sit by the thing, but who knows what the weather's going to be like? Can it, will it be weird weather wise? And you go, oh, the pool feels cold. And so that comes to expectation to me,
Yeah.
hope that's going to be there and then expecting this cool thing and then going kind of being, well, crap.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there is a school of thought that expectation is what gets you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that flies you off the handle. Now, hope. I like to think that hope is our built-in it's not a characteristic, it's almost like a built-in part of us that keeps us going. It keeps us here on earth. It keeps us showing up every day, right? Because if we think of people who complete suicide, they lost the hope, right? So hope is what keeps us. I'm gonna get up tomorrow because I just believe it's something gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's gonna get better. So I hope has to be with us. We have to have it because if we lose hope, ooh, we're in dangerous waters. Expecting that expectation. And also then I'm putting my expectations on other people, other things, and then they fail me. It failed me, right? That's when we're in the trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's like the vacation didn't do what it was supposed to do because I expected it to do way more than it could deliver. Mother Nature cannot deliver the way it's been delivering. We're in system collapse still from COVID. It's not delivering how it's delivering.
Mm-hmm.
Your yoga sit, your yoga teacher is going through it.
Mm.
So that 7 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday sit that is tried and true, it feels different. They couldn't get the studio clean. They couldn't get the mats clean because the cleaning service doesn't have people. Because we're all feeling it.
Well, that's a cool component. I put in hope, which is we're not alone. There, that was the thing during COVID for me was the year before COVID had been going through big career change and really huge transition. And when COVID hit, I thought, well, hey, everybody, welcome to my party. You know what I mean? And one of the things that I don't know gave me some sense of morbid relief was going like, everybody on
Yeah.
the planet
Yes.
is here with me.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
we're all under the same thing. But I think you're also speaking to, there's a lot of factors here, but one you mentioned especially is like still we're 3 years from kind of the initial big thing, at least in the US.
Yeah.
And like when you say system collapse, it resonates. Like we went through a fundamental change and experience crisis as
Yeah.
a species.
Yes. Yes. And we are seeing how, yes, it was coded under health crisis, which absolutely. But now we're seeing how that has bumped up against just our infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
just basic infrastructure. What was I was some I I didn't even know this before I got on social media. I was doing a recipe and I couldn't find sriracha anywhere. Like I couldn't find sriracha, and then I get on TikTok and there's this whole thing about like this key ingredient. It can't be harvested, and it's literally because of system collapse. And so therefore, like sriracha is like just you can't get it. And if you can, it's on eBay for like $50 or something. It's something ridiculous. So if we think of like, okay, I'm gonna get through my day and I'm gonna make this really awesome Thai meal and just have a quiet night. I can get the ingredient to do the thing because that thing will make me feel better.
Mm. Then we shift from hope. Oh, hope. It's gonna make into expectation,
Mhm.
you know, and then inevitably it's gonna disappoint. It
Yeah,
could disappoint.
it the world is out here disappointing, Cory.
Yeah.
It is out here disappointing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a thought that we release. So yeah, yes. One, we're acknowledging this. Two, we are saying you're not alone, right? We're all in it. What do we do, right? Like, what do we do when the thing is not doing what it's supposed to? The weather is
Mhm.
cooperating. We are not getting the endorphins that we want. There's a school of thought that we release that expectation, that we release the outcome. We release the outcome, because the outcome is what we're holding tight.
Mhm.
So you release that. Yoga class might be full of shenanigans. This vacation might not give me all the things. First, we just release that. Summer might not be the summer we're used to. And I know we don't want to release that expectation because a lot of things has not been what we've wanted it to be for a while,
Mhm.
right? 3 years is substantial. We're in 3 years and counting, right? Substantial. One of my friends had COVID last month, so COVID is still flying around,
So
right?
here. Yep.
Um, so we release that expectation. Also, we have to boost up the things that does give us some reprieve.
Mm.
Or it might have been 5. I'm gonna tell you now, this is what I've been telling all my clients. You got to get about 15 or 20, and we're rotating them in. We're rotating them in because that thing used to give you 100% boost. It's probably only giving you about a good 35. So we got to rotate those things to get us to where we need to be. You
Mm.
release so when I say release the expectation, you release that thing will give you the 100. That's what
Mhm.
you're releasing, that thing will give you 100.
See, that's powerful
Yes, yes,
because when you look at some of the Buddhist thought, you go, okay, release attachment, cool. I mean, I don't know. I've got 2 kids in this house and I love them, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
the releasing the 100% expectation,
yes,
like you
yes,
mentioned about the sriracha or even the yoga class,
yeah,
when I go to a restaurant, order a certain thing, think it's going to come back, and it's the understanding, like you said, with COVID, things have evolved and changed and mixed up and mushed and chaotic in some things. And the expectation is going to be the same thing it was before this, in our instance, COVID, going to the yoga sit.
yeah,
It's going to be clean. It's going to be quiet. They're going to be on. things have changed, and the releasing of the expectation I hear from you is the 100% exactly what it was going to be. Like one of the interpretations I have here is
Yes, yes. I'm not saying that sun won't do the same. I'm not saying that. Sun will
right.
absolutely boost you. We know that, tried and true. But I'm saying that you thinking going to the lake is going to give you that hope. It might not. It probably
Mhm.
won't. Because actually it's probably gonna rain a little bit.
Mhm.
You got to run to the car, seek shelter, play on your phone, and then you got to decide, am I gonna go back out there? Because now it's all hot and muggy because it
Yeah.
just rained. You release the thing. I am gonna show up for yoga, but there might not, the speaker system might not work, the air might not be working, my body might not even be fully present. I'm still gonna go. So we gotta have our whole little bucket full. So now it used to be that it's only yoga that will get you going, but maybe it's now a longer shower with a candle, yoga, and iced coffee is going to get you going. Maybe it's all three of those things.
Well, you said the word rotate, which is so powerful.
Yeah.
But as humans, and I'm going to be the one to raise my hand on this, I think I like change. I don't like change. I don't like change unless I institute it. So ordering the same meal from the restaurant, expecting same thing. Oh, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Building up expectation of it.
Yeah.
And then it's like falls flat.
Yes.
There's a nature in here, I think you're saying too, of the example, like for instance, COVID is things have been shooken up and
Yeah.
the expectation, that thing here
Yeah.
delivered the same result.
Come on.
Release that, be open to, and I love your perspective, rotate. Got to
Yeah.
rotate some things.
Yeah. I think of it as like a box, a chest, tool belt, makeup belt, whatever it is. And you got to be able to go, oh, this used to do this, but this is different. This is change. But don't throw it out. I'm not saying we throw it out. I'm saying you first got to recognize, like, oh, this is not doing what it's supposed to. You hear me? This is not doing what it's supposed to. That's expectation.
Mhm.
This is not doing what it's supposed to. Expectation, right? This is not what it used to be for me. That's okay. It has changed. I have changed. The world is changing. But what else do I have in my chest that's going to get me where I need to be?
Yep.
That will get me to, I am going to show up with my girlfriends for happy hour. When they say, how are you? I'm going to say, anxiety is whipping me dry today. But how are you, girl? Me too. My boss is crazy. Me too. My kid is. Do you know how much it took for me just to get here? And I can only spend 45 minutes. All right. Well, what we having?
Hmm.
Instead of, hey, what? Great, guys. Fine. The world is great. Or even, I can't even get into it, but I'm happy I'm here.
Mm.
And even then, happy hour might not be everything you want it to be. And so then you might have to do another walk in the evening. You might have to do a bath in the evening. You might have to get up a little earlier for something else. We got to look at what all we have and rotate it all.
As someone who struggled with the self-care practices, okay, what is it? What do I want? And then going, oh, I like tamales with beans and rice. I want tamales, beans and rice. I go, okay, there's something above that. Like your vacation examples, like there's something sunshine and the lake and being out on the boat and skiing. But there's something beneath or above that, which is what you're getting that maybe, rainy weather dampens. What is that? What is the feeling of that?
Yeah.
It seems like.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you talk to many people like me, for instance, but I struggle with the self-care practices. What are those? Find a couple, stick with it. Okay, that's my golden truth. Like just this morning, I went for a hike. Now it delivered on expectations, but
Good.
Give a thought there.
Yeah. First, I'm going to say, I want you to balled up self-care and throw it out of your dictionary. Because self-care is this thought of I'm having to care for self and these things will care for me. There's a whole lot of us got trauma. We don't even know how to care for others, less alone ourselves. So it's not self-care. It's what is going to keep me grounded, what's going to keep me balanced to keep showing up. Because we go to self-care and it's like, oh my God, I haven't did my pedicure because that's no. What's going to keep you grounded and balanced to show up? That could be avocado toast. But that's not going to fall under self-care, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is going to keep me grounded and balanced to keep showing up?
Mm-hmm.
Think the lake, the hike, and all of that will keep us grounded and balanced to show up. We think summer will, we think the sun will. But it's things in our bucket, it's what's going to keep me grounded and balanced to keep showing up. That you want to think of it as that. And once we shift to that, it's not so much big extravagant things.
Mm-hmm.
Also release the expectation, because for some of us, it's so much work to even do a self-care act. So then once it doesn't do what it's supposed to, you're like, I just shelled out 100 and something for this massage and it sucked. What in my bucket, what's going to keep me balanced? What's going to keep me grounded to keep showing up?
Well, if you go back to your toolkit, tool belt, it's like, okay, the screwdriver is always there, the hammer.
Yep.
You always carry those.
Yep.
Those aren't the big fancy tool.
It's not the jacket.
It's the regular, probably mundane more things of, I think you mentioned shower and a candle, those things that kind of center and ground you.
Yes.
And it seems like maybe there's a cultural thing here too, is that when we put all of our hopes into the big grand thing, it's probably an indication we're like, oh my God, I can't wait to go on the cruise.
Yeah.
And I hope it does this because I'm getting to like burnout.
Yeah. Yeah. Now Cory, now we're going into capitalism. Now we're getting into I have worked this much, therefore I get this reward. Now we're going into that. I've trudged through enough, now I get to do the thing. No. I'm not as disciplined, but I go get me flowers. I like the way they smell. I like the way they look. I also like a living thing in my space. It hits on all my senses. I will sit and I have them under my TV. So even in my just peripheral, there's this living, beautiful thing that I'm interacting with. That is not self-care. That keeps me grounded. It's hitting on all, it's just a little thing in my box. It's not a big, powerful thing. It's a little thing.
Okay, let me ask about grounding. What is grounding?
Yes.
What is grounding? So the flowers do that for you. It seems like I hear hits the senses, something beautiful to look at. But what really is grounding? Because I'm sitting on a grounding mat, right, from earthing. Yes. But I'm like, because I'm really want to know what's grounding.
Yeah. Grounding is any thing or act that keeps your feet, this is figuratively, planted on the ground so that you can execute a task. So if we have anxiety, anxiety keeps us up here. We want something to keep us grounded. If we're depressed, think of depression, think of down. You want something that raises you up so you can be grounded, so you can be firm, so you can be planted. Things that gets you wonky, off kilter, off balance, those are things that don't keep you grounded. So we want to do things that will keep you grounded and balanced so you can execute, so we can perform, do the act, whatever that is, which is brushing teeth. There's an execution with that, right? Getting out of bed, there's an execution with that. Going to work, completing our, there's an execution with that.
So it really comes to basic needs. What are your basic needs that help you, love this figuratively, feet on the ground? What brings you down to earth in the world?
Yes. While you have these bills, while you have this boss you don't like, while your partnership is in a weird phase, while your kid is going through their growth phase and you guys are not on the same page. How can you be grounded when you're in that airport for 8 hours more than you were supposed to, trying to get to that vacation?
Mm-hmm.
That's not self-care, that's grounded, keeping us balanced.
Gotcha.
And you go to your little box and you look at it and you're like, what is it? What can I grab at this moment? You're in that airport for 8 hours, your blood sugar might have dropped. It might be just a piece of chocolate that will help your blood sugar stabilize so that you can think through a plan,
Mm-hmm.
right? It might not be, I can buy another plane ticket immediately right now to get me there faster. That might not be it. But what's going to keep me grounded? While I'm in this suffering, again, Buddhist, in this suffering, in this emotional storm, this emotional upheaval, what's going to keep me balanced, grounded?
Got you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so thank you for that. So 10 big hopes on things that might be often out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
Back down to anchoring, to the grounding, to the things that like just help you figuratively feet on ground. So when we get to, okay, happy hour with friends, whatever thing we're doing next,
Yeah.
talk to me about approach. So we've acknowledged, hey, stormy, emotional weather,
Stormy. Yeah.
permission to feel those feelings,
Yep.
grounding, centering practice, being intentional too about like, okay, I'm recognizing before I even get to that group, my best friends, releasing the expectation, maintaining the hope, being
Yeah.
intentional, like, okay, weather forecast is kind of stormy.
Yeah.
Now we get there.
Yep.
Now we get into intimacy, authenticity, openness, vulnerability, all these things, right?
Yep.
I love you gave so much like terminology, like words to say.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so stressed I can't talk about it, but thank you for listening. Like some of those are so critical.
Yes.
So we're there. We're getting ready to open the door, go
Yep.
in to meet our buddies.
Yep. I have acknowledged where I am. That gives permission that the people who are in my space can do the same.
Mm,
So it takes off the froth of us pretending. Because so then we don't have to pretend, which is more emotional. Pretending is emotional labor. When I say pretending is emotional labor. So let's not do more emotional labor than life has us doing to begin with. Like, let's just not. So I'm showing up authentic. I'm saying what I need with my boundaries, not bleeding out. Maybe I am bleeding out. I give permission for those to do the same. And that creates the container for whatever you need that experience to be. That creates the container for it to reach the 100, for it to fall, for it to fill you back up. That's what it is. In the morning when you're getting ready to go on your hike, you're like, checking in, this is where I'm at. My emotional thing is where I'm at. I hope this hike does what it is, but it might not, because it rained last night and it's probably gonna be slippery, and then I'm gonna have to be I can't just check out. I got to watch how I'm stepping. But once you do all of that and you release the expectation of what the hike can be, the hike can then be what it's supposed to be and pour back into you. That's how it works. And then you're like, oh, it was muddy. And my shoes are all gross and I'm gonna have to throw them in the washer, but I was out the house and I didn't have to think of X for 20, 30 minutes. Look at that. And that gives you the space, the expansiveness, the breath for whatever else life is doing. That's why we're showing up as such, to allow the thing to maybe reach 100.
And we go to it with that approach and attitude.
Yeah.
And we go like, hope. I got, these friends have known me for this long. They get me. And I hope connection,
Yeah.
release an expectation, like they're just going to listen to me for 30 minutes, whatever it might be. And they're going to give me thoughts. They're going to tell me I'm not alone. But I like your more, I don't know, healthy way of thinking about this. It's like, one, when I say these things about my weather forecast, it gives other people permission to do theirs. And I get so much of that. Like you fill your tank.
Yeah.
Because you're not attaching a rigorous precondition to it.
That we already just be happy that this hike is going to be the best hike ever, that nature is going to be a balm to my soul and solve all of my problems. You release that. You release that expectation. And then it can be what it needs to be.
Space for that.
Space for that.
Whatever it is that needs to happen in your life, in that situation, whatever it is, to happen.
Yeah.
By releasing the expectation, you give that space.
Yes. Yes. And the realization of the hike might not be everything. Happy hour might not be everything. The vacation may not be everything. I might need to book another one. I might need to be like, girl time wasn't enough. Can we do it next week? Oh, I might need to do this hike again. You reach in the bucket and you're like, okay, this is giving me about 30. I need to be about at 70. What else can I got? What else is in there? You feel that also gives you the power of choice. You feel empowered now to navigate whatever's on the plate more realistically, more clearly. You're not in this wheel, this hamster wheel of I'm trying to do the thing and the thing ain't thinking. Release it. Release that. Release that yoga has to be that. Release it.
You're practicing emotional flexibility too. So tamales don't come out just right, but I release the fact that I really hope tamales come out. Tamales come out, don't. And if I'm so fixed on tamales, the exact, then I'm practicing some flexibility of going, maybe there's going to be chicken instead of pork tamales. I don't, something in that sense of like being open and giving space to what that experience is supposed to give me.
Yeah. Yeah. Or I'm like, I'm not ordering here until chicken. Wasn't it like it might have been like 2 months ago, like there was a chicken nugget shortage. Like there was a whole big thing, like restaurants couldn't get chicken nuggets. It was wild. Yeah.
And the thing you'd expected doesn't come, and now we're mad. And it creates, emotion or expectations, in that creates more potential when we cling to that, more potential problems.
Yeah.
Because then we're mad about the chicken nugget shortage.
Right. So you got to pivot to a chicken shrimp. Or you got to pivot to fish.
Or you hit the wrong Tuesday and back up and try it again.
Try it again. Yeah.
All right, Nikenya, thank you so much for all of this. It's helped me. I know it's going to help a lot of others think about these things. Approach them.
complicated topic. We got in there. We unfolded some stuff.
We did.
Yeah.
With that, as we wind down, your time's so precious, and we so appreciate you at All Counseling doing these, because I think they're just expansive.
I love them.
Anything else you want to mention before we close shop?
No, it's always a great time here at All Counseling. If you guys have questions, please just give it. I'll chat back or send an email or what have you. We can post maybe about it. It's okay if the thing ain't the thing, guys. It's okay. It's okay.
Nikenya Hall, abcholisticcenter.net. Put it in the chat. It'll be in the chat notes. If you're in the New York area, great, awesome therapist sharing her wisdom, experiences, her expertise with us at All Counseling. Thank you so much, my friend. I can't already wait for the next one. Sorry, I have high expectations.
I will meet those. Such a pleasure, Cory.
Thank you, my friend, for being here, and you have a great day. And thank you, everybody else, for being here at another allcounseling.com webinar. And be sure we'll be begging if we need to have Nikenya back for another series for the end of the year.
Great. Have a good one, everyone.
Thank you.